Mr. Speaker, today we released our 12-point jobs action plan to get Albertans working again. One of our key points was to fight for pipelines. Every day, Canada loses up to $50 million because of lack of market access for our oil. The throne speech said that this government would work towards solid timelines for approvals for pipelines. What, if any, progress has the Premier made in getting the federal government to set predictable timelines for pipeline approvals?
Good. Honourable Premier.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. In fact, 2 weeks ago in Vancouver, when we were discussing primarily climate change at the request of the Prime Minister, I made it very clear that we also had to talk about market access and pipelines. And as a result of that, we got all of the premiers and the Prime Minister to sign on to a declaration that specifically said that they understood the urgency and the importance of timely, predictable, stable decision-making with respect to pipeline approvals across the country. And that was language that we put in there, and now we're going to keep pushing them on it, and I welcome the constructive effort.
Thank you, Honourable Premier. First supplemental.
Jobs matter. In Calgary and all over Alberta, people are losing their jobs or taking pay cuts to keep their jobs. Maybe this isn't important to NDP, but in Calgary and across our province, it's a big deal. The fastest way to improve job prospects is to get the pipelines built. There is no better shovel-ready infrastructure project than a pipeline, and it won't cost the taxpayers any money. Why won't the Premier be a strong supporter of market access and get these pipelines built?
Honourable Premier, Minister of Economic Development.
Mr. Speaker, I'll thank the member for the question. I think the member needs to listen more closely to what the Premier has already said, in that we are strong advocates of market access. The Premier, as well as myself and the Minister of Energy, have been working with our counterparts, both west of us and east of us, as well as our federal counterparts, looking at having a constructive dialogue, Mr. Speaker, because the end goal is to get our product to market. It's not about jumping up and down and screaming in the media. That approach clearly has failed. It's failed for 10 years when the Leader of the Opposition was a federal MP, and it's also failed the previous PC government in Alberta.
Second supplemental.
Believe me, people in Calgary want to get back to work. They want the NDP government to have an actual jobs plan. This government had just one job-creating idea, and it was a bad idea. And then NDP went from a bad plan to no plan. This Premier could actually show Albertans that she is serious about jobs by wholeheartedly taking up the fight to get pipelines built. Will the Premier do so? Or can we expect more silent diplomacy from her?
Honourable Premier.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think on the issue of pipeline advocacy, I've answered the question several times, but I would like to speak to the other issue. You know, all last fall, the opposition over there said that a plan with rules that gave a $5,000 grant to employers to create jobs wouldn't work. And so now they're introducing a $6,000 grant to employers with no strings attached at the cost of billions of dollars, which suddenly they think will work. Mr. Speaker, which side are these guys on? I can't figure out if they're coming or going, and Mr. Speaker, it just doesn't make any sense at all.